All right, I will try and make this quick, but it just kind of takes some explaining. Stormwater management guided notes. First of all, from Revit, you are going to need some things. You're going to need the square footage of your roof, like from your floor plan. Um, Let me actually bounce over here. I'm going to talk about this more in a minute. Um, but basically, you're going to need to know like how large your site is, right? How like the square footage of that. You're going to need to know if you have, well, not if. So here's your roof. If it's just like a simple gable roof, so we need to know the area, the square footage of that, and then you'll have some kind of concrete, right? So maybe a back patio, and then a driveway. So those three square footages, um, concrete, roof, and then the square footage of your entire site. You will need that. Okay, here we go. So I'm giving you the quick version. I do want you to look through this first. It will kind of give you some background. I am giving you the quick version because this can be a little tricky. Basically, basically how this works is, um, let's pretend that we have this field and we bought this field and it's full of grass, right? And it's just a field. When water falls on that, it's going to drain very differently than if we have a building on it. So then we're going to come in here and we're going to build our house. We're going to build our house, and there's our roof. Like I said, we're going to have a back patio. We're going to have a driveway, and maybe we have a garage or a shed or something out back. And then we still have grass, right? We still have grass everywhere else, but notice, obviously, not as much, right? So when water falls on that property now, it's very different, right? Um, Especially with things like concrete or a house, that water obviously isn't going to soak through the roof of the house or the concrete like it would in the grass. So we have to take account for that. That's what this assignment is really about. So let's bounce over here. I'm going to fast forward to this example. Make sure you read through all this stuff first. I want you to notice that this says example, your home, pre-development example, post-development example, and then the same for your house. So here's our pre-development, and we're going to plan for a storm, right? And if you look up at this chart, 1, 2, 5, or 10, a 25-year storm, 50 or 100. And that's our C sub F, or our runoff coefficient. So in this one, it calls for a 25-year storm. That's why we're going to use 1.1. That's where this 1.1 came from. Then the C is our runoff coefficient depending on our surface. So pre-development, this is pre-development, we are just going to use farmland. Scroll down to this chart. There's all kinds of different coefficients based on the surface type, brick, concrete, lawn, whatever. If I take 0.5 and add 0.3 and then divide by 2, I get my average, which works out to be about 0.18. That's where the 0.18 comes from. Rain intensity. Well, how much rain? If we go up to this link, we can find storm intensity. And if you click here, you can find anywhere you want. I'll click on Utah. And let's just search for, can I just do a city? Perfect. And yeah, here we go. So here's that interval. We want a 25-year storm. And I think it called for an hour. Yeah, so there it is, 1.24. We go back here and this was 2.54. Oh, 1 hour rainfall. Oh, this is in Nashville, Tennessee. So I want you guys to do 25-year, 1 hour in Ogden. Okay. That's where the 254 came from. And then it said we are 3 acres. Boom. Water runoff rate is 1.5 cubic feet per second pre-development. Then we build on it, just like I was talking about. We build all of our stuff on it. Things are going to change. So let's skip down here to the red. It's still the same 25-year storm. We still have some farmland. We still have the same rain intensity, but look, our 3 changed. Remember, it was 3 acres. It's not. Now it's 2.31 acres. That's what you're going to have to do some simple subtraction with and figure out what your site is now. Because before it was this big rectangle, it was all grass. Now it's not. So you can just take whatever, 3 acres and subtract that square footage, this square footage, this square footage, okay? So that's where the 2.31 came from. And now we have a different surface type. Pre-development, we just had one surface type. Now we have this parking lot, right? So that's where this 0.95 came from. Still the same rain intensity, and then this is the area for your parking lot. Notice we have to convert everything to acres. Okay. So then we do this equation. Now we have 3 cubic feet of runoff, and then we just do our post minus our pre. And what local code usually says is your post development has to be at or less than runoff has to be at or less than pre-development. If that's a problem, that's why we see retention ponds. There's one in Shadow Valley. They're all over the place. There's one Mount Ogden Park where the little kids play soccer. That's a retention pond. It holds that water and then it slowly lets it out. That's for a different purpose. But if you were building something and you decided to, have a ton of concrete, well, you would have to somehow hold that water and only release it so it is at or less than your pre-development runoff. Hopefully that makes sense. So here you go. You're going to do the same thing with your property. This is going to walk you through it. You're going to show your work right here. You guys are going to use 3 different types of surfaces. We're going to call your house, your property pasture. We'll call it pasture. And then you'll have some concrete, and then your roof is asphalt shingle. And I think, yeah, see, I highlighted those below for you guys. Look back on your example for the math. And then down here, I'm curious if your calculation meets Ogden code. And of course, you're fine on your assignment. If it doesn't, I just want you to see what Ogden code is. Notice I put the page number. That should hopefully make some sense to you, especially if you weren't here in class. Yeah, look at the example, make sure you look through the PowerPoint, do your pre, do your post, subtract your post from your pre, and you should be all set.